Hey there, I'm Jacqueline.
And I'm John, and you're watching Target Tours TV.
This is where we tell you about what we love the most, taking you on the trip of a lifetime.
Tour announcements, contests, travel stories, and tips to enjoy your next vacation. It's all right here on Target Tours TV. And welcome back to a new episode of Target Tours TV. Today, our topic is going to be packing. Jacqueline, what would be a great place to start?
Well, if you're starting packing, you're definitely going to need luggage. So what type of luggage are you going to get? Do you want hard shell or some of the soft material suitcases? We're partial to hard shell, largely because it, in case you're dealing with any kind of weather, if you're flying and your luggage is getting transported between areas, if it's soft shell, then chances are good you might get wet and then your luggage might get wet. So that would be unfortunate. So we like to suggest hard shell. The other thing I personally like to do is when I'm choosing a piece of luggage, I travel most commonly with a medium size in a set of suitcases. And I like to go a little bit smaller than an airline's requirement. So that way, if it's a little bit smaller, it's much less likely that I'm going to overpack and create a heavy suitcase.
So Jacqueline, we also get asked, how much clothing can I take? And we know a rule of thumb is half as much clothes, twice as much money. But seriously, remember that when you're packing, that you pack enough that you're going to wear outfits multiple days. So 2 and 3 times, make sure you can dress in layers and coordinates, but also make sure you have room in that luggage for your purchases, because you're going to want to be able to buy things and take home nice souvenirs.
Super important to leave some space. It's also super important to be comfortable. You don't worry about looking like a local at the destination you're traveling to. You are a tourist, and as being a tourist, you're going to be walking around a lot, which means you need to be comfortable, particularly in terms of your footwear.
Yes.
Your feet need to be comfortable if you're doing a lot of walking. And I definitely have a first-hand experience with this. I made the mistake a few years ago of traveling, and I forgot. I bought brand new boots about 2 days before my trip, and I knew I had to break them in, so I did. I went on a really long walk with them. Fortunately, I came back and I had big blisters on the back of my feet, which was not great timing because I was going to Paris and I knew I was going to walk a lot. So in that circumstance, I actually ended up wearing backless shoes for that entire trip, just so I could survive the pain that I'd inflicted on myself. So definitely bring in shoes that you've worn for a while, that you're comfortable in, because you don't want that to be holding you back from enjoying the destination you're traveling to.
Another thing that you should look for or take with you is a carry-on bag. So if your main luggage is in the airplane or aircraft, or if it's in the bus, then you want to have a carry-on with you that you can take medications, you can take snacks, you can take water, something that you might need throughout the day that you don't have to go to your big suitcase and get. So something like if you're on a long flight, you might take a protein bar, something that's going to be able to get you through the day.
It's really important, especially if maybe the delay happens, that you have a little snack stashed away to keep you going if that's the circumstance.
Yeah.
So you get to your destination. John, do you unpack completely, or do you just keep throwing stuff in your suitcase?
Depends. If I'm there for 7 days, I will unpack everything into the drawers in the closets. But if I'm going from hotel to hotel, I just work out of my suitcase.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I tend to work out of my suitcase. One side will be my soiled or used clothing. The other side will be my clean clothing. And then I normally bring a little bag of lavender and I put that in one side. Try to keep one side fresh as much as I can as I keep going.
Yep.
It's now time for us to tell you our favorite packing hacks. So one of the ones that I've recently started doing over the last couple of years that saved me a lot of grief was keeping my bottles from spilling. So it's not unusual when you're flying, especially, that a shampoo bottle or a moisturizer bottle might open up and spill within your bag, and that's not what you want. So what I've started doing is taking plastic wrap and I put it between the cap and the main bottle, and I twist it on and it actually seals the bottle, and it has been foolproof for me ever since. I also always travel with a luggage scale. I use it before I leave and then when I return. So when I leave, I make sure I have enough room to come back with some goodies. And then when I leave, to make sure that I have not overpacked and I don't have to be over that 50-pound limit. I really think that's super useful.
We also suggest that if you're a couple, is that you split your packing between suitcases when you're traveling, because that way if one suitcase happens to get lost, then at least you're going to have some clothes at destination when you get there. We also suggest for packing, having some packing cubes or vacuum bags, because they're really going to be able to pack a lot into those, so you're going to have a lot of room left over for purchases.
Super important because you're going to go shopping when you travel.
Yeah.
Something to keep in mind is we don't always think it's a great idea to use locks when you're in transit. Bring a lock for your luggage when you're at destination, but when you're in transit, the TSA or the border has the right to break your lock and go into your luggage to search. So if your lock is not TSA approved, it will just get broken and it may not be worth that investment. So if you will buy a lock, we suggest that TSA approved lock. Otherwise, it may not be necessary when you're in transit.
That's right.
When choosing your luggage, we suggest that you don't choose a black suitcase. The reason being is when you're at the end of your trip, you're at baggage claim or you're by the motor coach waiting for your piece of luggage and you're tired, everyone picks black and it's easy to choose the wrong one, and that's not how you want to go home with your wrong luggage. Pick something with a color or a pattern, or we have another suggestion on how you can identify your bag.
That's right. So for every tour you book with Target Tours, you're going to get a Target Tours luggage tag, which is great to leave on your suitcase and leave it there for future travel. Thank you for watching Target Tours TV.
Our next episode, I'll be chatting with Lynn Dunphy, accountant and co-owner of Target Tours.
Be sure to follow us on Facebook, where you see our live tour announcements and much more.